UNIQLO is perhaps one of the most obvious brands for the last few years. And by obvious, I mean it has become a de facto brand that settles in on the staples, what CEO Tadashi Yannai says is life wear. But the last few years, UNIQLO has upped its game even further, leading me to say that right now, and I can't even believe I'm saying this is the absolute best time to start buying into the brand. And today I'm gonna explain to you why. I never thought that this would happen, but I am Reggie Casual. Let's get it. All right, so first and foremost, UNIQLO is probably one of the most accessible brands on the planet. Not just from a it's everywhere perspective, but also from a easy to shop at perspective. Most competitors in UNIQLO's category, more on that later, have a hodgepodge of different styles and are far too distinctly trend-driven. UNIQLO, on the other hand, has a unique, no pun intended, take on trends that allows it to not only skirt them, but also apply them in unique ways. There goes that word again. This ensures that you're never out of the loop stylistically when dealing with the label, but you're also not beholden to strict guidelines that the overall industry has tacitly agreed upon. In the past, UNIQLO was often described as being a bit boring due to its essential elements position in the market, but now it's gotten its method down to a near perfect science, turning its accessibility into something that's far more powerful than typical trend-driven apparel. But there's more to it. Let's put this out here because recently there have been a few complaints about UNIQLO from its classic customer base, those who came in first. And for good reason. UNIQLO has changed tremendously post-pandemic. It was during this time that UNIQLO switched up its business model that many were likely unaware of. As a company, UNIQLO recognizes trends are real important, but as I said before, being beholden to those trends can be a major detriment. Look at Exhibit H&M or Zara for that matter. UNIQLO, on the other hand, has found a way to recognize trends and apply a timeless approach to selected styles. This has led to a ton of options that are also fashion forward. And it's pretty remarkable, all things considered. This approach has attracted several partnerships and has diversified the offerings that the brand has. Problem with this is that UNIQLO really didn't tell anybody this. It just happened. To the point where you have some of those classic UNIQLO fans saying something like Muji is better than UNIQLO, still perhaps thinking that UNIQLO is a place for affordable basics. And unfortunately, that just isn't the case anymore. UNIQLO does have basics, but its creme de la creme at this point are its forward-driven pieces that give the customer more options stylistically while also remaining timeless, and also you're able to wear them for a lot longer than typical fast fashion. We'll get into that later. The other thing is that UNIQLO is pushing its premium lines more, which stand in contrast to its normal UNIQLO stuff, which is a bit lesser to a degree. This has led some to revolt, but ultimately this change has made UNIQLO more adaptable, competitive, but also relevant without giving up its core goal of providing, as they call it, again, lifewear. Capsules like Engineered Garments and J.W. Anderson were met with a ton of fanfare. These collections weren't just trendy throwaways. The designers were encouraged to implement their design language into a more wearable, seasonless model. The end result being that UNIQLO positions itself as a way to enjoy the aesthetic of talented designers in the industry without the runway price tag. These collections are becoming more frequent, and more European designers are lending their talents to UNIQLO and making for a very diverse range of lifewear products. There are some more reasons to this, but let's take a break to get in a word from our sponsor, Squarespace.
A big part of fashion is community, and building a fashion brand or any business requires a strong one. That's why using Squarespace for your new website might be the way to go. Besides being packed with great website templates, built-in SEO and analytics, Squarespace's new members areas make it easy to create, foster, and grow a community of true fans. Give back by giving members exclusive content, discounts, and much more, all while monetizing your business. So use our code squarespace.com/thecasual to save 10% off of your first website and let Squarespace help you build your brand, business, and community.
Now, everything that I mentioned before is pretty much well known, but here's the more contentious one. UNIQLO's quality is just increasing among its higher range. While quality has been UNIQLO's claim to fame for a while, it seems to be upping the ante more recently, with clear product lines dedicated to this direction. We have UNIQLO U, for example, is its golden goose, and basically the best quality at that price rate you're gonna get. And UNIQLO plus J has single-handedly made UNIQLO a big player in the world of high fashion sensibility at a less than high fashion price. And even though many see that UNIQLO operates under the guise of fast fashion, CEO Tadashi Yannai refutes this by claiming UNIQLO isn't fast fashion because they do not chase trends. And even fashion journalists are kind of agreeing. Some saying UNIQLO is diet fast fashion, as its products often stay on its shelves 6 to 9 months, a far cry from the 2 to 3 months that is employed by competitors like Zara. And when eco-friendly websites also co-sign some of the sustainability efforts of UNIQLO, you know that they're doing something right in that regard. As far as fast fashion is concerned, UNIQLO is turning out to be one of the more quality-driven and more ethical, but it doesn't come without its own criticism. We gotta be real about that. That said, its lineups are priced well and the products are known to last longer than those of its contemporaries. And lasting a while is a hallmark of better quality. Now, it's not as cheap as it used to be, that must be said, but it certainly is still pretty affordable considering its price rate. And all this culminates into perhaps the biggest reason why UNIQLO is the best entry-level brand in the world and why you probably should be buying into it if you haven't already. It gives the consumer autonomy. The offerings are just enough and just designed enough that you can develop your own sense of style and identity well before you start splurging on higher priced items. Far too often, and this is my opinion here, when people shop for clothing these days, they kind of let the brands dress them, leading to less than healthy trends, a lack of creativity, and things that just contribute to fashion waste and unhealthy habits, i.e. trying to keep up with everyone else is a detriment to fashion. UNIQLO as a brand encourages you to establish your look. It was basics at the beginning, but now it's much more complex, but it doesn't make that transition difficult. It's the reason why so many employ UNIQLO, even people that you don't think. There are people who like, hey, why do you have all this money and you're still buying UNIQLO? Because the value proposition is just there. Now, is UNIQLO a brand I'd suggest that you wear in perpetuity? Now, that all depends on if you're building a wardrobe and getting the most out of your clothes, because UNIQLO can certainly last years due to the company's emphasis on quality over quantity. However many times people refute this, that's just a simple fact. UNIQLO stuff does last a lot longer. At the very least, it's a brand that you can grow with until you get to your personal upper tier, or at least a brand that you can try something well before you splurge on the high-end brands. And that's just how you slice it. That's just how it is. I don't normally give UNIQLO its props, but now it's just, there are times when I go and I'm like, wait a minute, that's a nice coat. Right? Like, I think I want that. And then I look at other places that don't have that particular design, and I'm like, how is that possible in this scenario? How does UNIQLO have this, but this designer brand, or this brand that's a little bit more pricey, or claims it has better quality, or is just more slower, doesn't have this style? UNIQLO has found a way to kind of thread that needle so well, which makes it one of the best brands, in my opinion, to at least keep on your radar and keep in kind of like the deck, your little Rolodex of brands that you should definitely shop at. And that's about it. But before I leave you, a special shout out has to go to Heat Tech and Airism. Seriously, there's literally nothing quite like these two things. And if you decide that UNIQLO isn't for you, that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to do it. But don't sleep on the innerwear. Heat Tech and Airism, by far the most accessible, technical-driven undergarment wear, period. Airism in particular is just a godsend. Godsend. I don't even care what you believe. Godsend. Some godsend. Something. It's crazy. And Heat Tech, we don't even need to talk about that. It's just, I mean, name something better. Name something better than heat tech when it's cold, if you live in a cold area. There's not much better than heat tech. In any case, let me know your thoughts on UNIQLO in the comments. Do you agree with the points that were made here? Or are you more skeptical? Let it be known in the comments. You could be mad, you could be glad, or you could just be kind of neutral or not really care, because this is just fashion, guys. Anyway, or let us know another brand you'd like us to review on the channel next. But most importantly, keep it locked right here for all of your info on international fashion culture and business from Tokyo. It's your boy, and keep it casual. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu, and I will see you guys in a minute.